These are the spoilers you're looking for. Where do I begin? Honestly, there are so many talking points when it comes to this movie, and actually doing a non-spoiler review, which is the video I made yesterday, it was incredibly tough to talk about the film and sort of dance around the major talking points and you sort of lightly cover the plot and whatnot. But now it's time to just blow the barn doors open, just go straight into it and talk about all the things that happened and all the things I liked, all the things I disliked in, in way more detail. So yesterday I talked about how this film is completely unique. It feels totally and utterly different from anything we've seen before in the Star Wars galaxy. And one of the reasons it does this so well is because of how unpredictable it is. I mean, the whole plot is the rebels trying to get away from the First Order, trying to get away from their ability to track them through hyperspace. So with their limited fuel resources, they need to just keep crawling along through space until they can infiltrate Snoke's Super Star Destroyer, or whatever you want to call it, and then somehow block that ability to track them. So that's what the beginning of the film, the middle portion, all leads to, and then it just changes like that. They get captured and then they head to Crate, and you're thinking, okay, that's my preconceptions completely thrown out of the window, which is good, because predictability can be good sometimes. It can also not be good at times. For example, The Force Awakens, while it felt familiar and while, it was a good nostalgia trip and all that, you were sitting there and you're like, obviously they're going to destroy this third Death Star, they're going to completely wipe out this Starkiller base, and that'll be that. So in this one, it was incredible to sit there and be like, I don't know what's happening. I honestly can't predict it. It was refreshing in a sense. But just like predictability, where it can be good, it can be bad, when you take all these risks and when you take plot twists that no one can predict, it can also be hit or a miss, right? And I feel like the two major talking points of this film are what can make or break this film. And of course I'm talking about Snoke dying prematurely and Rey's parents being revealed. So, first of all, Snoke dying, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a fan of it. It's bold. It's incredibly bold, and I kind of like how it's shifting the dynamic to Kylo Ren. I mean, he was kind of always the main bad guy. Snoke's always just sort of been in the shadows, and we've never known much about him and stuff like that. But because of that, Snoke is perhaps the most two-dimensional Star Wars character there is. If you were to ask someone, right, describe Snoke's character, they'd be like, I guess you're a bad guy. You want power. That's all you can say, and it's disappointing to have this guy that the internet has been, not only Snoke's identity but also Rey's parentage. For 2 years, the internet's been going like mad. All these theories, all this speculation, and then to have Rian Johnson basically be like, "I see your theories, and I raise you one middle finger. Screw you guys." It basically was like that, wasn't it? Like, yeah, and I know you guys think you've got this, but screw you. It kind of was like a massive middle finger. But Snoke he started off this movie, they were trying to build him up more, trying to show more of his power. He's throwing General Hux around through his hologram, just like mad. He's shooting Force Lightning, I believe it is, out his hands at one point. He's lifting Rey into the air, basically torturing her without breaking a sweat. He's like, wonder what I'll have for my tea. Chicken? Pork? Maybe? I don't know. And he can bridge the minds between Rey and Kylo Ren through the Force. You must be a pretty big deal to do that. And then he's goading Kylo Ren into killing Rey. He's like, I always know what my apprentice will do. I always know what he's thinking. And he will never, for example, turn this lightsaber I have next to me and cut me in half. No, that's stupid. So, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of how we've waited all this time. And then that's that. Snoke's no more. Yeah. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. I was just majorly disappointed. And again, this, what I was alluding to yesterday, this was one of the scenes that mixes humour and seriousness not too well. So Snoke gets cut in half, this massive plot twist that no one sees coming, that the audience, you could just hear them gasp in shock and in horror and like, did that just happen? And then a couple of frames later, his head's on the ground, he's cut in half, his body's like, he's like some sort of kid at a frat party. He's like, it was one of those examples where humour doesn't really mix well with the scene. I will say that the fight between Kylo Ren, even though Kylo Ren switches allegiances like that, he's like, okay, I'm good, now I'm bad, now I'm good, now I'm bad, yeah, I'm definitely bad. Wait, I'm good again, no, wait, I'm bad, yeah, I'm going to be bad again, yeah. Even though he switches allegiances all the time, his teaming up with Rey to kill the elite Praetorian Guards, that was badass. That is one of the best fight scenes I have seen in Star Wars for quite a while, to be honest. I did quite enjoy that more than Luke's whole apparition, you know, when he returns as this like force. It's not a ghost obviously, but it's like this force projection, I guess you'd call it. And I don't know when you guys found out, when you guys, it clicked in your head, it was like, okay, that's not Luke, that's clearly Luke, but you know, it's not his physical body. I don't know when that clicked to you. It wasn't till near the end of the scene I was like, it's definitely not Luke. But one of the big things that gave it away, I was like, is Luke shaved? Is he dyed his beard? I was like, did Jedi do that? Is there like a Nivea for men in Star Wars? I know we've seen a shot where there's an iron and it's ironing clothes. I guess irons are canon. The more you know. I actually liked that, the transition of that iron scene. It looks like a spaceship landing and it's actually this robot like, gotta do the ironing, yeah, Star Wars. I kind of liked that scene. It was quite funny. But yeah, I believe the Praetorian Guards fighting Rey, it was just more, I mean, Luke Skywalker deflecting all these blaster shots, fighting Kylo Ren, it's badass and stuff. But one of the scenes that really took me out of the moment is when he does that sort of Matrix limbo backward motion where his lightsaber comes across him and it goes slow motion. I wasn't a fan of that. I was like, it's kind of corny. It was kind of a trope. I wasn't a big fan of that. But back, I keep switching between points. I'm all over the place just because there's so much to talk about. But yeah, I did prefer the fight with the elite Praetorian Guards. The guys, although they were eventually swept to one side, they are badass. They guys are incredible. I love how they have differing weapons, how their weapons just change, you know, and they've got the whips, they've got the axes, and it brought out the best in Kylo and Rey, I guess. And that scene where Rey throws her lightsaber and Kylo grabs it and ignites it in the guy's face, you're like, yeah, he's dead. Yeah, that was badass, that guy. Time out, yes. He is out for the count. But as I mentioned earlier, the sort of mixture between serious scenes and funny scenes, one of the biggest payoffs we were looking forward to was Rey, well, obviously Rey's parents, that was a big deal. Again, that was another thing that was like, Rey, your parents are just some junkies, some people that sell junk and also take drugs, yeah. So yeah, again, that was another sort of disappointing thing. You're like, is she a Kenobi? Is she Palpatine reborn? What is all this? And then it's like, no, she's just this kid. You know, nice theories again, guys, but screw you. In a way, it's good because it's quite inspiring that, okay, she doesn't have to be a Kenobi. She doesn't have to have this crazy lineage to be someone special. It's, you know, I can see little girls out there being like, you know what? It's kind of like the final scene with that little orphan or that little kid, that Force-sensitive kid. It's like, you know what? I can become a hero. It doesn't matter who I am. I can do this. It's kind of like, you know, looking at the sort of non-Force-sensitive side of things. It's like Rose. She's just a maintenance worker, but she becomes a big deal. She becomes a hero because she believes that she can do it and it's the right thing and they need to take down the First Order. So yeah, I like that aspects of the film. But of course people are going to hate the fact that Rey is actually just, you know, her parents aren't a big deal after all this build up. But yeah, as I was saying, one of the biggest scenes sort of bridging The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi was the scene where Rey is handing the lightsaber to Luke Skywalker. It's a beautiful moment. It is absolutely incredible. There's no question about that. J.J. Abrams builds it up perfectly. It's such a great climax to the film. And then Rian Johnson literally has Luke just... I'm going to my hut. Yeah, I felt like, although it was funny, it was hilarious, don't get me wrong, I felt it was another one of those moments where I was like, do we need humour here? Like, I wasn't a big fan of that scene. I mean, words can't describe my disappointment for that scene. I will say, however, I was a massive fan of other things. I know I've been really negative towards this so far, but Yoda appearing, for example, the way he's just introducing the shot, Luke sort of walking up these steps, to the big tree that's got all the text and stuff in it, and then you just see Yoda's ears, just cross around. You're like, yes, Yoda. Yoda was hilarious. Actually, he had me and the entire audience around me just cracking up. I think he's gone even more crazy now that he's a Force Ghost. I think if you thought he was a bit mental in The Empire Strikes Back, he's proper off his medication. I guess you don't get medication in in the afterlife. Bit of a bummer. But yeah, I mean, he's just Yoda like we remember him. Oh, it's so funny. It's crazy how powerful Force Ghosts can actually be. How he can shoot lightning from the sky, how he can actually still interact with Luke, how he can hit him with his walking stick. And yeah, it was a great moment, and I'm sure fans old and new would have loved it. I also love the fact that it was his puppet again. It wasn't the CGI Yoda. It was the Yoda we all remember, the sort of hunched shoulders, the classic way he walks, the sort of stop motion. I know it wasn't stop motion, but the sort of slow way he moves his head and the way his lips move and stuff. It was perfect. And yeah, I'm glad they did introduce Yoda. I was kind of thinking at the time, like, going to introduce Obi-Wan, reintroduce him again as his Force Ghost. I was like, is there just going to be this parade of Force Ghosts? Like, get Qui-Gon, it's a Force Ghost party, yeah. We'll get Snoke's Ghost as well. Let's just get everyone involved. But yeah, I think that's everything I really wanted to talk about. There will no doubt be stuff when I'm editing this. I'll be like, how did I not talk about that? Oh, that was stupid. But yeah, I think the only thing to end off is my favourite scene in the entire Star Wars, and perhaps the saga actually, definitely in the film at least, was where Holdo sort of turns the rebel ship around and just hyperspaces it. She's like, yeah, this is kind of like, this is actually terrorism, but it's heroic, so it's fine. And then she just shoots her hyperspace through Supreme Leader Snoke's massive Star Destroyer. It just completely ripples it. It's complete silence to begin with. This just massive ball of light, and then this sort of roar. And no joke, when I was sitting there in the cinema, the whole audience just lost their mind. They're like, this is so cool. Like, you'd think the coolest part of this film would be Luke deflecting all those blaster shots and fighting Kylo Ren. But no, for me, it was that moment. It was just brilliant. It was beauty. It was, yeah, I loved it. One thing before I go, actually, one thing I wasn't a fan of is Leia flying through space. I hate how the Force can just be used as a crutch. It's like, how did they do that? Oh yeah, the Force. I wasn't sure what to think when Leia was initially blown out of the bridge. I mean, R.I.P. Akbar, man, it truly was a trap. Yeah. So we lost some major characters there, and I was thinking, well, obviously, unfortunately, Carrie Fisher's now not with us. So were they going to, just kill her off here, or Leia's character off here, or Len, when she starts, her fingers move, and then, I mean, that was a beautiful moment, I guess, when she starts flying Mary Poppins style through space. You're like, okay, it's quite touching with the music and everything, but it was a scene that you should have been sort of, it should have been a sort of kind of tearjerker scene, but for me, and many of the audience, they're just laughing. They're like, what is this? I can't take this serious. And yeah, that's another sort of divisive scene. But yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. If I've missed anything out that you would like to discuss, be sure to leave that in the comment section down below, and I'll happily reply and give my honest opinion and all that. So yeah, feel free to go mad in the comments section down below. Talk about all of the major plot points to talk about. Are you a fan of Snoke being killed off? What do you make of Rey's parents being no one? What did you think of the Luke fight? I mean, there's so much to talk about, so yeah, just feel free to go wild, essentially. But yeah, that's going to be it for my full spoiler review. In the next coming days, I will be posting a ton of Last Jedi content, whether it be look at various parts, you know, various discussion points and various lists and all that. And I'll also be going into a ton of detail with the lore of the characters. That should be very exciting. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, until next time, thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.